touchdown. Went into the medical tent for just a moment, comes back and scores again.
But he gives it a little pump fake. He throws it on a line and somehow gets it over 23. Great.
Bailey Zappi looked completely respectable last night as the Patriots beat the Steelers. Steelers becoming the first team, or one of the first teams ever or something, to have back-to-back losses to teams that are 8 games below 500 or something, while also having a winning record. This is interesting to see. A daily sports podcast, news, narratives, takes, and gambling. They win. I lose half my bets that I told you. Wait, I only won one bet, Zeke Elliott. So not great. Don't follow me. Stop following me. Don't do that. And by follow me, I mean gambling-wise. Today's top story, however, has to do with Sean McDermott. Still waiting on verification of this. Someone named Ty Dunn. So let's look at Ty Dunn, his Twitter profile here. There he is. I launched Go Long to serve as a home for long-form pro football. Subscribe today at golongtd.com. Past, Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, Buffalo News. So Tyler Dunn has sources allegedly inside the Bills building, and he seems like a legit person. And he launched his own website. Then on his own website, he reported something. The thing that he reported is going to be regurgitated by many, many, many people, and you may have already heard this. Bills head coach Sean McDermott used the 9/11 terrorist attacks as a metaphor on how to build team camaraderie in a team meeting, according to Tyler Dunn. Did he side with the victims and first responders? No. No. Quote, he cited the hijackers as a group of people who were all able to get on the same page to orchestrate attacks to perfection. True. Very good. Very true. Factually true. He apologized for this today, saying, my intent in the meeting that day was to discuss the importance of communication. Let's read from the direct report itself. Here we go. At St. John Fisher College in Pittsford, New York, McDermott's morning address began innocently enough. And this is Pittsford, New York. I think that's where the Bills do their stuff. He told the entire team they needed to come together. But then sources on hand say, I don't like that wording there from Mr. Journalist. But then sources on hand say he used a strange model of the terrorists on September 11, 2001. He cited the hijackers would come on the same, but one by one, McDermott started asking specific players in the room questions. Quote, what tactics do you think they used to come together? A young player tried to methodically answer, what do you think was their biggest obstacle? A veteran answered TSA, which is funny, but didn't exist at the time. So Sean McDermott is not a coach anymore. Actually, he's not yet been fired. He will, though. He will not be the coach of the Buffalo Bills. And I have been saying for many, many, many months that Ben Johnson will be the coach of the Commanders. But now I'm starting to think that Ben Johnson will be the coach of the Bills. Could you imagine Josh Allen learning how to do play action correctly and having a good run game? Whew. Big Football Friday. College football is donezo. Not quite. There's Army-Navy. It's in Boston, which is a travesty. Boston, Paul Revere, shut up. The Army-Navy game should be 90% in Philly, which is neutral ground, also where the war was happening. But Boston, the shot heard around the world, Paul Revere, shut up. It's also equidistant between the Army Academy and the Naval Academy. 10% of the time it should rotate between New York and Washington, D.C., just for the hell of it. Because that's why New York is New York City. Yeah, New York City is annoying, but West Point, New York is pretty close, which is where the Army Academy is. So Army-Navy's happening this weekend. I don't bet on that game just because they're college kids. And nobody you've ever met in your entire life ever, nobody ever has any idea ever what's going to happen in that game. Never. Never. Ever. It's just a coin flip. Navy is a 2.5-point underdog. Why? The over-under is 28.5. What's the weather like in Boston? I just said don't bet on this game. Weather, Boston. Saturday, it's just going to be 49 degrees and depressing. Okay, never mind. I thought it'd be fun to bet the under, but it won't be because the weather is not going to be that bad. In college football, it appeared, this is from Football Scoop, which I don't know how legit this is. There was a team that was putting players' Venmos on the Jumbotron if they made a big play, and then people in the crowd could just like give them money, which is how players originally were paid in North American sports. Like people would just throw coins at like Ty Cobb and old people, which is crazy. Speaking of NIL, Marvin Harrison Jr. and Travion Henderson have allegedly been offered NIL deals that rival first-round draft pick money. No, that's not true. People love college football. I don't think Ohio State has that many donors that are just willing to light $25 million. It's $25 million fully guaranteed minimum, depending on where your draft slot was. Also, the endorsement deals are better. Like, Ohio State's a really big college football branch. It is not the NFL. It is not the NFL. It just isn't. Ohio State has a big following and does not have the same following as the NFL news is like news. So people are saying that kind of stuff. I don't think that's true. I bet they made $10 million, but I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true at all. Also, you stop getting less famous, you can get hurt. And for quarterbacks, it makes sense. For running backs, man, I would be like, you can't equal it. You got to beat it. You got to give me like 30 or 40 million. That's just what I do. What do I know? You know. What do I know? Football Friday is, we have some basketball news. The Wingstop Detroit locations are offering 5 free boneless wings when the Pistons win. The Pistons, I think, at one point had lost 18 consecutive ball games. So that's just mean. Deshaun Watson being criticized for being up in the booth in L.A. for when the Browns got destroyed by the Rams. Why? Oh, he just happened to be in L.A. He wasn't with the team. He hasn't been with the team at all. He's not with the team. He just is in L.A. And he just like went to his team's game in a box. This guy is a piece of shit. Deshaun Watson is a piece of shit. What a douchebag. The Browns deserve this. They deserve this horrible luck. Okay, Football Friday. Got some bets for you. Some big games, some interesting games. Okay, a couple interesting games early. And then we have 2 piece de resistance games that are huge games and really interesting for everyone to watch. Afternoon games, the big ones are Eagles at Cowboys, Bills at Chiefs. A lot going on in those games. Other interesting games to me and everyone else are Colts Bengals, because is Jake Browning more than a one-time thing? Can the Rams do anything against the Ravens in Baltimore? I don't think so. And can the Bears beat the Lions? Maybe. The Bears are 3-point home dogs. And the Lions lost a defensive lineman and a center. So maybe. I think there's going to be a lot of over-unders, 43.5 to hammer that over. Oh, hammer time. I am also interested in Jets and Texans. The Jets are 3.5-point underdogs, and I have them clicked into bet. Why? Because it's funny. Zach Wilson's starting now after reports where he didn't want to start, and they're like, they start, and then people are snitching on each other. It's funny. Okay, let's go through my bets. I like the following picks for the weekend. Ravens to smash the Rams. Smash. Over 43.5 for the Lions. Lions over. Ravens to cover. Jets to cover. That's a funny one. I don't really mean that. If Zach Wilson won a game, that'd be funny. I like the Raiders to beat the Vikings outright. The Raiders are a good team. They have a Aiden O'Connell at quarterback who's not very good. They have potentially Hall of Fame talent here and there. They've got probably the best running back in the NFL other than Christian McCaffrey, and he might be better than McCaffrey. He's in terrible situations. Josh Jacobs. Devontae Adams is still sick. They have Hunter Renfrow getting back in the fray. Max Crosby is the best pure pass rusher in the NFL, or if not number 1, he's number 2 or 3. The Raiders are sick. They're like a quarterback away from being like Super Bowl contenders, in my opinion. They're better than people think they are. I like the Chiefs to cover because of the 9/11 thing, and I like the Eagles to cover because, I don't know, they're one of the best 3 or 4 teams in the NFL. So, let's go through it one more time. Ravens to cover. Lions over 43.5. This Jets one is just for fun. That's just hilarious. I'm rooting for that hard. Raiders to win. Bengals to cover. Chiefs to cover. Eagles to cover. So, those are what I like. The ones, my best bets, my bestest bets are the Chiefs to cover and over 43.5 for the Lions. Chiefs cover over 43.5. Those are winners I feel very confident about. Heisman Trophy being handed out this weekend. I think it's going to be Jaden Daniels. No particular reason. The Pac-12 championship happened on a Friday. I bet people forgot about it. You know, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. We got bowl games coming up on the 15th, I think. Miami, Ohio, Appalachia State, New Mexico State, Fresno State, UCLA, Boise. Cal is bowl eligible, huh? Good for them, dang. All right, back and better than ever on Monday.